Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight on Youth Matters because you matter. And that's what it's all about today. We're here because of you, and we're here to discuss youth matters of the heart, being your authentic self, and community building. And a shout out to Youth for Change Canada for allowing us to be here on this platform. I'm going to do a line acknowledgement from wherever we are today for anybody that's listening and tuning in to us. I would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we call home. So welcome to everyone, and welcome to our guest here today. We have Renata Wilson, who is here from the York Regional Police. I'm very excited. Before we get started with Renata, I'll just do a little bit of vision about what Youth for Change is about. And Youth for Change is about shining light on all the matters of the heart to youth, bridging community partners for matters of the heart, to dive in a little bit deeper on things that are very important to us today. For Youth for Change, our vision is to provide marginalized youth the opportunity to live wholesome, successful, and enriching lives through engaging and dynamic programs while stimulating the positive social change. And that's why we have Renata Wilson here today, who is going to shine light and educate us on anti-bully education and awareness. And that is our topic matter because there's so much going on in our world today. And we just wanted to create a platform, a safe space to discuss these matters of the heart. So welcome to Renata. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Renata, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you to the table, your background, before we get into a presentation for our listeners and viewers?
Okay, so my name is Renata Wilson. I've been with the York Regional Police for over 11 years now. I spent most of my career on the road, which means answering to calls and, giving tickets and all that stuff. And about 4 years ago, I applied for youth education spot. And ever since, I've been dealing with young people. At the beginning, we would be doing the VIP program, which educates about bullying, what could happen to youth when they break the law, safe internet use, and other stuff like that, right? Other than that, that's it for me.
Wow. Renata, do you find your work is busy? Because you are on the road, you're taking that information mobile to other people. Do you find that the call out is there, the need is there in our present day world?
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, thank you. Do you find that the present day requires more of the conversation to happen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's something that we can't talk enough about, right? I always tell that to youth and school children that it's, first of all, when it comes to bullying, it's not going to stop once they stop going to school. It's throughout their lives, right? It's something we have to talk about all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And these days, it's even more than ever, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's just so much coming at our youth, and that's why we're exploring different programs to shine light on opportunities to engage and learn and delve a little bit deeper into a safe space, a safe place where people can have that platform to talk. So we really appreciate you being here and allowing us to learn along the way with you. So Renata has a presentation for us on a variety of things, and I'm going to let her take it away. I may intercept at the end just with some other things that we want to talk about in terms of Youth for Change and maybe any questions to follow. She's taken the time to be with us here today, and 1,000 thank yous for that.
So, no problem, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, so the presentation I'm gonna present, this is one of the presentations we use for elementary schools. Does it show?
It shows well, actually, and thank you for taking the time to prepare this presentation for us. Also coming from working in the education field as well, I know how important this program is and taking it into the community. So thank you for that.
Alrighty, so we usually do this for grade 6 students and kind of go back in grade 8 to see what they remember.
Mhm.
It starts off with a video, a short video that was made by some high school students on bullying.
Okay.
Oops.
While we're waiting for this to start, just reminding ourselves to reach out and talk about anti-bullying education and educating each other along the way. How's that?
Do you see the video?
I certainly see the video for sure.
Thank you.
And yeah, I did hear a bit of sound and then it kind of just cut out. Yep, and that's good. So we're here for Spotlight on Youth Matters today. We're here with Renata Wilson from the York Regional Police. We're talking about anti-bullying education and we're shining light on matters of the heart. All right. And did you want to go ahead, Renata, with the presentation?
Oh, okay. So I'm guessing the video doesn't come through. I have a video playing.
Yes, yeah, and it's not coming through for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Let me start all over.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I had it open too many times.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's all good.
That's why I
Yeah.
was a little bit.
Sure, and that's the beauty of being on a virtual platform.
I know. Okay, so let's start all over.
Sure. No, that sounds great.
I'll actually close everything that's
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You got it.
deleted. Okay, so grade 6.
Great. And be sure to follow us on social media for anybody that's listening or tuning in. Give a like on our YouTube channel and show us that you're out there. And if you have any suggestions for any programming, let us know. We'd be more than happy to try and include that in our programming. All right, take it away, Renata.
Okay, so there's supposed to be a video and music only.
Okay.
Let me know if it works at this.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so there are many forms of bullying. This was one form of physical bullying. This little girl was bullied because she had a red hair. In my opinion, beautiful red hair. I love red hairs. I always talk about when we talk about inclusivity, how people are different, how we are different. Everybody's different, right? Everybody's unique in a different way, and it's a great thing. It's not a bad thing when somebody's different, right? I always say how boring it would be. Everybody looked the same. We like the same thing. We would be eating the same thing. You know, it would be a boring life, right? So we have to embrace if somebody's different, not make them feel bad about being different.
Yeah.
So bullying, it's a form of repeated and aggressive behavior intended to harm another person's body, feelings, self-esteem, or reputation. So sometimes it has to be repeated for us to qualify as a criminal offense. But like in the video, somebody gets physically hurt, they end up in the hospital. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a repeated thing. The main forms of bullying, physical, just like in the video. It says minor physical contact, but doesn't have to be minor. Any level of physical contact could qualify as bullying. Any damage to property and theft of property. If somebody's property was stolen and it's related to bullying, it would fall under physical. Verbal, name calling, mocking, mean phone calls, teasing, gossip. And I can see the bottom one.
For sure, spreading rumors, for sure. That's
spreading rumors. Okay, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is something blocking it. So, oh, there you go. It went away. Social bullying, it would be more like excluding someone from the peer group or from an activity. A lot of times that happens in at a younger age, kids would be like, I don't want to play with you or something like that. That would be social bullying. And electronic bullying can be by email, cell phone, text, and gaming devices or on social media. And anything that's online or through like a electronic device, it would be electronic bullying, like cyberbullying. So when does bullying become a police matter? When it becomes school violence, which is a criminal behavior that occurs in school settings. So doesn't have to happen actually in school settings. Anything that's related to students, anything outside, even outside of school, it could definitely become a police matter. Definition of violence is the intentional use of physical force or power against another person, group, or community with the behavior likely to cause physical or psychological harm. So it's very important to understand it has to be intentional to be a criminal offense. Accidentally tripping someone or accidentally hitting someone, that's not a criminal offense. There has to be intentional. This book is the Criminal Code of Canada. It has all the criminal offenses and punishments in it. There is one part of it that specifically deals with youth, because when it comes to criminal offenses, we have to take in consideration that maybe some young people don't understand fully the consequences. They don't understand what's a criminal offense, how can it hurt someone, so there's a separate part that deals with youth under the age of 18. Mm-hmm. The punishments are different for youth than for adults. Adults, they fully understand what's wrong and what's right. Are there criminal consequences involved if bullying turns into school violence? Definitely. School violence can result in criminal charges. These are just a few offenses that related to bullying. So whenever police is called because there is a bullying incident, the charge would not be bullying. They are associated to these criminal offenses, and there is many, many more. Uttering threats, criminal harassment and assault, these are the most common ones, but there are others as well. So that would be the actual charge.
Wow.
And extortion or blackmailing. Threatening to seriously hurt or kill someone directly or indirectly is called uttering threats. So this is just the definition. In red, that's the actual charge.
Yeah.
That's what we lay, uttering threat. Now it says directly or indirectly. So when a person tells, let's say, a friend to go up to the victim and tell them that, they're going to beat them up after school, that would be indirectly uttering threats. So, or even on social media, if they, make some threats over social media, that would be indirectly. Just because the person doesn't actually tell the threats to the victim, it doesn't mean they can be charged with uttering threats. Repeatedly texting and bothering someone face-to-face through social media or through text messaging is called criminal harassment. Now, in this case, harassment, most of the times, it would have to be a repeated thing. So one time may not qualify as criminal harassment. We also have to let the person know who's harassing the victim that they have to stop with the behavior. If they continue the behavior, then more likely to be charged with criminal harassment. Because at that point, they're aware that their behavior is not welcome by the victim. So the definition of assault is touching anyone without his or her permission intentionally is called assault. This includes pushing, tripping, slapping, hitting, spitting at someone. Again, the very important part, it has to be intentional, right? A lot of times people wouldn't think that spitting at someone is a criminal offense. It is, and it falls under assault. Threatening to hurt you or someone in order to get them to do something that they don't want to do is called extortion or blackmailing. It's a more common term. Other criminal consequences include warning, community referral program, or a court appearance at a later date, and a permanent police record. So there are different ways we deal with youth when they commit criminal offense. Because, like I said, they may not be, they may not fully understand, how other people feel or what's the problem with what they did. So if it's something on a minor side, we would issue a warning. If it's something a little bit more serious, but it's their first time, they're very remorseful. Instead of laying a charge, we can do this community referral program that they have to complete. And if they do complete, then there's no criminal charges. There's going to be a record of, they had to do this because they committed a criminal offense, but no permanent police record. Now, if it's something more serious and it's not their first time, they most likely will be charged, and that means they have to go to court. And if the judge decides that they will convict for the criminal offense, there will be a permanent police record. Now, it could affect their lives down the road. I always tell the youth that, a police consequence not going to stop when they stop going to the school. It could follow there for the rest of their lives, right? So they may be suspended from school, but that only affects that time, right? Now, if they have a permanent police record, it could follow for the rest of their lives. It could affect by getting certain jobs. A lot of places, they ask for background checks these days. Sometimes just as simple as traveling, maybe even just go across to the US, right? They want to do a weekend shopping. At the border, the officers, they have access to the police file. If anybody ever been convicted of a criminal offense, they see that, right? So if it's something more serious, they may deny access. So that could be one of the effects. And yeah, like I said, vacations, they want to go down south. The country may decide that they don't want somebody with a criminal record.
Yeah.
So, and actually, a lot of universities and colleges, they ask for background checks these days. So that could be a problem as well. So what should the youth do when they see school violence? There is non-emergency lines, phone numbers if there is no emergency, but if somebody is getting hurt at that moment, definitely call 911. If they don't feel comfortable getting involved, and they have to remember that, if they get hurt, that's not really help for anybody. They have to be very careful. Tell an adult they trust teacher, principal, or parent, and go online to report on Crime Stoppers. They could report anything criminal if they don't have to give their information, so they can stay anonymous. And most of the schools, they have this reported button, and that's the same idea. They don't have to give their information to report anything that's concerning or criminal. And like I said, the reported button. School consequences could be detention, suspension, or expulsion. They could apply to all students for incidents that occur during school or after school. Like I said, it doesn't have to be on school property. Unfortunately, a lot of times bullying happens on the internet. So most of the times the students are home, right, at home. So that's not on school property, but that doesn't mean they can't be punished for it. Some schools use a restorative session, which focuses on getting all those involved people together to discuss their feelings and ways to avoid future incidents. So a lot of times we are not even involved if it's not, a police matter. It's just dealt with within schools.
Yeah.
Is there any good reason to pick on someone? It's a silly question. Obviously, no, it's wrong. It is an unacceptable behavior, and you will be punished for it, whether it's at school, work, or in society. Like I said, bullying could happen at any stage of your life, right? So it's not just a school problem, it's a society problem. We all have rules to live by, and it comes down to good choices versus bad choices. If you make a bad choice, then you have to accept the consequences of your actions. You are responsible for making your own decisions. What causes a person to be a bully? These are just a few examples. Low self-esteem, looking for attention, problems at home. A lot of times that's the root of a person to be a bully, and because they were bullied. So unfortunately, young people try to deal with the issue by bullying other people, but obviously that's not the solution. What do you do if you see someone being bullied? Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable getting involved, definitely report it to an adult. Someone, because next time it could be you, right? So you would want someone to help you as well. So don't just stand around and let the bully to hurt the victim. It has to be reported. It could be you. What is the difference between reporting it and snitching or tattling? If someone is being emotionally or physically hurt and it's being done on purpose, it's not snitching. This person needs help. You helping. You're not trying to get that other person in trouble. You helping someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, unfortunately, victims, they too scared to come forward to report it because maybe they were threatened to be hurt even more if they report it. And a lot of times other people who witnessed it, they don't want to get involved or they don't want to be called a snitch, but you have to remember it could be you next time. You would probably want someone to help you. Respect yourself and respect others. Treat others the way you would like to be treated, and you will find this attitude will go a long way in keeping you out of trouble. It's very simple, I would think, just treat everybody the way you would like to be treated. A lot of times I say that, if before you do something, take a moment and think about it. How would you feel if somebody did that to you? If you think that, oh, I probably wouldn't be happy, maybe it's a good thing. It would be a good thing not to do it. So another short video.
The varsity soccer team had played 10 or 11 games and lost every single one of them by really embarrassing margins. Our goalkeeper, Daniel Quee. He was taking a lot of criticism, even though he was only a freshman playing varsity goalkeeper. We thought we were on the road to our first game that wouldn't be a loss. At the last minute, everything changed. Their star player, with a minute left, cracked the shot, and unfortunately, Quee wasn't able to stop it. It was in the back of the net, and the next thing we knew, the ref was blowing the final whistle. It's horrible, I guess, because as a goalie, that little one mistake, is a goal, and a goal in soccer is huge. This guy said, "Oh, I'm gonna make a great photo album. We have a bunch of pictures of you making great saves." The photos went up, and I was just shocked. It was just, horrible. After those photos were posted, there was a lot of tension. And I didn't want to go to school. I felt like taking time off. I don't want that attention. I didn't want that negativity. We decided we had to do something. And eventually we found this great picture of Quee making a save. And the 3 or 4 of us at about 7 p.m. made it our profile picture. I came back about an hour later, and my newsfeed had exploded. It started with the soccer team making it our profile pictures, and the girls' soccer team made it their profile pictures, but then the whole school got involved. Over 100 people had either liked it, commented on it, tagged themselves in it, made it their profile pictures, and it was like my entire newsfeed was covered in Daniel Quee stories. He came to school the next day like he was 10 feet tall. Once he had that confidence, he was just going for it, throwing himself out there like a rag doll. And the next season, one game, they were just hammering shot after shot after shot. And Quee makes the best save of his life. He was parallel to the ground, he did a Superman dive, and the ref blew the whistle and we won the game. And I punted the ball up in the sky, and then I started running. It's like, wow. Best moment of my life. I changed from the freshman kid to Daniel Quee, the beast goalkeeper. The whole school had stood up for someone who needed it. He was a normal kid just like us. We have our highs and our lows, and that's when we realized that we were all Daniel Quee.
So words, sometimes it's just as bad as the physical bullying. Words can hurt. It affects people differently. Some may wouldn't be bothered if they did this to them, but Danielle was very depressed and didn't even want to go to school, right? Because something that they posted about him on social media. So it affects us differently. You have to also remember that, you know, you may think it's not a big deal, but it may be a big deal for somebody else. And the whole school stood up for him. So they were able to make him happy, and look what happened.
Yeah.
He performed better after when people stood up for him, right? I believe this is another video.
Okay, Lindsay, you're
Very
up.
short video.
Today I'm going to talk about Patty. Patty's best characteristics, she's stupid. Stupid and ugly. Everything she does is ugly. Watch her eat. Watch her stuff her face. Look at her. Greasy hair, dirty fingernails. It makes me want to vomit. Her dad doesn't work, they have no money. That's why she wears that nasty pink sweater. Everyone hates her, even the teachers, and they're supposed to like everyone. Get a life, Patty. Thank you.
Well, that's
So
good.
obviously this didn't actually happen. Like it's not in person. It's just saying that, you know, people wouldn't do this in person, right?
Yeah.
You think it's not right in person, why would you do it online? So you could tell that all the other students, they were like shocked, like how can somebody say these bad things, right? We wouldn't do it in person, don't do it online either. Just because you're not face to face to the person you talk about, it doesn't make it okay to do it, right?
Yeah.
So let's just move into cyberbullying.
Yeah, thank you.
It's using social media to harm others or any other online platform. What do you think people are now using the internet to bully instead of in person at school? There is no face-to-face contact, so they don't have to deal with the emotions or the reaction of the victim in person. They think that they will remain anonymous and won't get caught. York Regional Police have their specialized unit. They investigate online crimes, so don't think that you know, he will remain anonymous. We have the men and women who can track down anything on the internet. So
Yeah.
we've all said things we wish we could take back, but it's impossible to take back things that you post. The thing with the internet, once you press the enter button, it's out there. You can't take it back, right? You may delete the post, you may delete the message, but you don't know how many people seen it by then, right? So again, you have to be very careful when you posting things online. Cyberbullying consequences could include, just like other bullying, a school would contact your parent and guardian. School discipline under the Safe School Act, such as detention, suspension, expulsion, if it's very bad. And it could be, there could be criminal charges as well. What are some things you can do if you are being cyberbullied? Do not respond, because if you show that you are affected by the bully, it may fuel the fire. If you ignore the person, most likely they will stop eventually. Because if somebody is reacting and they show that they hurt by the words or the post or anything like that, the person who's bullying them, they're gonna be like, yeah, it's working, I'm gonna keep going. So probably the best way is not to respond. But don't delete the emails or IMs, and take a screenshot to show it to a trusted adult, teacher, or police officer. We will need some evidence, so that would be probably the best evidence to have the communication, or the messages rather, because there shouldn't be communication back and forth. And make a report to your internet service provider if you need to have information removed. So they can remove some information. Unfortunately, they cannot take back, once it's been shared, they can't take that back, but they can delete stuff from the internet.
Okay.
And there are, again, some resources. There is Kids Help Phone Line. You can talk to someone, and Crime Stoppers to report, and the school's reported button. And you don't need to provide your details. Now, finally, there is a video of some elementary school, I believe grade 7 and 8 students talk about cyberbullying and bullying. And they are saying very, very good and smart things. So youth understand, right, what's right and what's wrong, and they understand the effects. So let's just keep that in mind and not hurt each other. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a little bit longer video.
Sure. Thank you.
Think before you do. I mean, you hear it all the time, just think before you talk. Also think before you post. It works that way too.
My name is Giselle and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Devon and I am in 7th grade.
My name is Anisa and I'm in 7th grade.
My name is Ajante and I'm in 7th grade.
Describe cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying to me is saying hurtful words on a site or app.
I think cyberbullying is just like all other bullying. It's all hurtful, and you can always hurt someone's feelings, no matter what type. It could be physical, or you can hurt them mentally, But it's like cyberbullying is just as bad as physical bullying.
Cyberbullying to me is like when you choose to go online and make fun of other people. I've seen it happen in like group chats, and I've seen like cyberbullying happening when it's first like all fun and jokes, and I've also seen it as anonymous accounts. They basically like say people's secrets.
What was your first reaction when you see negativity towards someone else or when it's directed at you?
Reread it. I reread it. Just like I reread it a couple times to see if I'm like reading a word or something.
Let's say like I was looking at someone's page and then I just kept seeing, and like every picture, that same person keeps saying like mean comments in like the pictures, and I usually say like, if you don't like her, then why are you on her page?
They should think about what if they was getting the words said to them that they're saying to other people. Just think about what you're saying before you type it and post what you're saying, before you hurt someone's feelings, hurt a group of people's feelings.
Social media was used to like in a positive way, and like there's people using it as a negative way. There's times where it just gets like personal, and like some people don't realize that words that you say might like seem like a joke to you, or you might think that you're kidding, but some of that for them might be true.
Think before you do. I mean, you hear it all the time, just think before you talk. Also think before you post. It works that way too. Because if you're going to post something, you're not going to think about it until after you see the comments that you're getting. Think before you type, think before you write, and think before you talk.
What you say is harmful, so if you like type something up but you don't actually mean it, it can like be taken in the wrong way, and it can lead to other problems.
Just think about what you say.
How does online bullying impact what happens at school?
People could take it too far. If you take it too far, if someone gets mad at school, then there's a confrontation between you and who. It's just downhill from there, and then it ends up to something that's bigger than it should have been. If you could have avoided it by watching what you say.
Also, like it could lead to like fights and also rumors.
What ideas do you have to help someone else who has had experience of being bullied online?
Stay calm and like
It's not your fault.
Share what happened.
I would give advice on like just relaxing first, think about your response, and then send it.
It's not right, and you don't have to go through that every day.
So what would happen if you see a person at school who you know is being cyberbullied online?
Talk to them. Just tell them, like, hey, man.
It's not worth getting mad for.
Thank you.
You can eat lunch with them. A letter and then put it in their locker. So like maybe if they're sad in the morning, they can like open their locker, then it would fall on the floor, then they would read it and then they would be happy.
Stand up for them in a good way, not, as I was saying, like keep going back and forth, like take it in a responsible way.
And about the thing, like if someone calls someone ugly and you see that, so like with the person that's bullying the other person there, you should say, oh, hey, you're pretty to the person that was getting bullied.
You may have heard the expression being comfortable in your own skin. What does that mean?
Be yourself.
Be you. Don't let nobody try and change you. Be you.
And stay confident about your body and how you look.
Everyone's built different. There's always going to be that one kid who you feel like you want to be like, or there's going to be that one adult or that one teenager that you're going to strive to be like, but at the end of the day, you're going to realize, just be yourself.
Very smart young people, right?
Yeah, you know, it's very emotional when you hear youth conveying what we all should be following, right?
I know, and it's very hard to hear that this is what they have to deal with, right? Like, I can't even imagine. Like it's very hard for youth these days.
It is, yes, yeah.
And it should be so easy, like that one of the girls, like just leave them a note, you know, like it should be so easy and should be so much easier to be nice than, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Those mean comments and why.
Yeah. When you're doing this presentation, what's the response from youth in particular? Do they feel empowered to push forward and continue on with the positive change, be the agents of change?
I would think so. Yeah, I think I would say that definitely they, like I said, they understand, right? There is always one or two that they aware that maybe those students don't have the best intention, but most of the youth these days, they understand, they follow that, you know. What's right.
Yeah, and as you no, absolutely. And as you had conveyed, and also, you know, the youth, everyone's coming to the table from different backgrounds and philosophies and things coming at them in our world. So it's very important to be present and mindful of, you know, lashing out at somebody else and the effects that may have and the domino effect. And all of the tools that we have in our toolkit to sharpen those tools at different times as we have different needs. Right. So what I'm hearing from the youth and these presentations and the sort of the bullets of information is that change can happen. People can make a difference. Community can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Educators like yourself can make a difference by imparting knowledge. Sometimes people don't always know, but in many cases it is a gut reaction, right? So when we talk about just sort of doubling back a little bit on anti-bully education, we're talking about physical and virtual as well, and a variety of things. But it can be intergenerational, although we're focusing on youth. Sometimes the youth might be the agents of change to make a difference in the adult world of anti-bully education.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. What about family then, Renata? How does family play into this in terms of supporting their children? If you have a moment, a bit of time to touch on that, and you and what you see in the community and how empowered a youth may feel by having their familial support.
Well, absolutely. Everything starts in families, right? You spend most of your lifetime with your family. Well, students, they spend quite a bit of time in school as well, but maybe that's their second home, right? But definitely families, they probably they are the one who can affect the youth these days. Yeah.
I was looking at the website of York Regional Police, and just and some of the things they were saying, being sure to praise your kids, exhibiting that positive behavior, focus on the positive, because sometimes we can drown things out with the negative, right? And validating what they bring home, in conversation, behavioral changes, noticing behavioral changes due to a variety of things, could be bullying as well, and finding ways to support through the family, to again, that validation, right?
And yeah, it's just hard because families are so busy, right? So they may have no time to sit down with their children and talk about things, right? So everybody's living a busy life. So definitely it should be, those conversations should be happening at home as well. But, schools probably a great place to educate children about it. If that doesn't happen at home, at least at school, right?
And if recapping sort of some resources, if someone was going through that, we could recap just how they could reach out, different ways. So if you could just recap a couple of things, whether it be within the school or within a local community with police, or a trusted person they can speak to in the community. What are some of the resources, like online, if they didn't want to speak to anybody, but they wanted to have a conversation anonymously?
Well, there is, I would say there is quite a few, like Kids Help Phone, that's a great resource. COPE 310, it's also something that they have social workers they can speak to. On top of my head, that's all I can think of, but I'm sure, like, even online, maybe chats, there's like, they can actually speak to professionals, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And sort of drop in workshops and things like that. Sometimes,
yeah, some people don't feel comfortable with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the anonymous part comes in handy too. I know we've had we've been fortunate to have Crime Stoppers on as guests before too. So you mentioned Crime Stoppers, and also so important. They play such an important role in our community for prevention, right? And yeah, I know. So the presentation today, I truly value your experience that you've brought to the table. And for anyone that's listening and tuning in, or will at a later time, I'll be sure to post some resources and such for them to follow up on as well. And I guess what I wanted to do is just do a shout out to Youth for Change once again for allowing us to have these conversations on this platform, for Renata to be here to educate us along the way. We wouldn't be here without them. And so we truly thank Youth for Change for that. And if there are any topics of matters of the heart that you want us to share, please message us, because they are very important, and your voice is very important as a youth, and that you are the agent of change. We are here because of you. So thank you, thank you for that. And I just wanted to go over one thing before we wrap up. If you were to have any words of encouragement, Renata, or words of wisdom, passing that on to our youth, what could that be?
Oh, just stay strong. And like I said, it's so hard for youth these days. And I'm actually glad I'm not a teenager these days, because they have so much to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And if you think it's too much to handle, don't be scared to reach out. It's unfortunately, there's still a stigma when it comes to, maybe I can deal with this. People are gonna think that I'm weak or anything like that, but no, like, we all deal with stuff. And I have no issue to reach out to someone when I feel overwhelmed, and you shouldn't either. Like, there's things we can deal with. It's too much to deal with, right? There is always people who more educated in certain things, and they can help. They can give you good advice, or just to help you. There are people out there to help, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to reach out. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I would say it's that person is very strong who's able to reach out to someone for ask for help.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think on Renata's note there, we are wrapping up our conversation with Renata Wilson from the York Regional Police, and we so value her expertise and contributions to the conversation today, educating us along the way. Be sure to follow us on social media and do a shout out to us and give us a like on all of our followings. Really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, and look forward to connecting with you again. And thank you to our listeners and viewers for being here as well. We're wrapping up for Spotlight on Youth Matters. My name is Lynn McEntee. I've been your humble host today, and I've been here with Renata Wilson from the York Regional Police for Youth for Change Canada. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.